All right, so I'm going to teach you a few more modeling tools, and those modeling tools are found here in Mesh. There's some things here under Booleans, Union, Difference, and Intersection. I'm also going to go over some of the things under Surfaces. We're going to learn how to revolve, and I'll reteach you how to loft as well. And I'm also going to teach you how to extrude along a curve. I'm not going to make any objects in particular today. I'm just going to show you how to use these tools, and you can decide what they're used for. The first one I'll teach you about is the revolve tool. That's under here. You have to be in the Surfaces submenu system, and you need a curve. So I'm going to click on Create, either CV or EP Curve tool. Play with both of them, see how they behave. And then I'm going to go to an orthographic view in here. Oh, got to get to this here. Let's get to this orthographic view, create CV curve tool, and I'm going to be from the side, let's say, and I'm just going to click around randomly a little bit, and then now I've created a curve, and I'm going to take that curve and hit Surfaces, Revolve, and you can see that it's wrapped it around the y-axis there. I'm going to hit 6 on there. You can see what it looks like from there. Let's look at it from this position here. Hit 6 again. You can see it's made something that looks like a vase. If I find the original curve, which is here, I'll control select that. I can move that curve out to expand the size of it. I can as well. Let me move this to the side, then I can get to these. Right click, control vertex. Notice if I move vertice, it will, sorry, that's better. If I move a vertice, it'll adjust my thing, just like as if I'm carving it on a lathe. In fact, many times this tool is called the lathe tool. In Maya, it's called the revolve tool. They mean the same thing. That's the revolve tool. Let's select that stuff in object mode and delete it. Let's try something else. Loft tool. I can do create, polygon primitives, or CV curve tool. Let's go back to an orthographic view. I'm going to create this curve, something similar to that last one, and I'm going to duplicate it, Command D, and duplicate it this way here, Command D, and duplicate it once here, and then the one in the middle I'm going to expand and make big. Then I'm going to select these curves in order, and then hit Surfaces Loft, and you see it will draw a curved shell between all of those. And I can go to object mode and move that here and adjust it after the fact as well. Under control vertex, I may want it to bulge out a little bit more there. And you can use that to sculpt car parts or any. I'll undo that now. Let's go back to object mode and delete all that. Create something else here. Let's go over to the polygons menu here, and let's learn how to use the Booleans tool. Now the Booleans tool is a little bit dangerous in that it will often create geometry that's not perfect. It's an important tool to learn how to use, and then just don't use it too much or you're going to make a mess of your geometry. I'll show you one way to clean up after you're done as well. In fact, this works for the loft and the revolve. Once you're done using your objects, you can delete their history. Anyways, to start out with, we're going to create polygon primitives. Oh, let's create polygon primitive cylinder. And we're going to make this long like a pencil. And and then we're going to decide that we want this to be like a hexagon shape. So under the inputs over here, I'm going to do subdivisions around the axis, and we're going to do 8 to make it like a pencil shape like that. Okay. And then after I get this pencil shape done, I'm going to create polygon primitive cylinder again, and I'm going to create this guy, and he's going to basically turn into my pencil sharpener. If you'll watch here, I'm going to take this vertex right there, and I'm going to move it down along with these vertices right here. So now it's made kind of this inverted point. In object mode, I'm going to make this bigger, R, and I'm going to move it into my pencil to basically sharpen it. and I'm going to use the Boolean tool to do that. So if I hold down to this pencil and I shift click on that other cylinder we're using to sharpen the point, I can hit Mesh Booleans Difference there, and you can see it took off a little bit of the edge, which means I didn't push it in far enough. So let's hit number 4 on the keyboard so we can see how far in it's actually going. Let's get that. There we go. We'll get a nice sharp point on here. So we shift click this, and then Mesh Booleans Difference in there. And now it's created. I'll hit 6 on my keyboard. Now you can see it's sharpened the end of that pencil. Just to show you another little trick here. Let's go in here under Edge Mode and select these edges. All right, if I select all of these edges here, take me a second to get all the way around here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to harden them up. Notice you couldn't see the difference between the sharpened pencil and the unsharpened spots. So now that I've selected all these edges, I can hit Normal's Harden Edge, and it'll create a hard edge there. That way it's more visible when you're texturing it. You can see the difference between the flow from one to the other. That was with Normal's Harden Edge I did to create that. So that is the Booleans tool. Now, I don't know if you've learned about Venn diagrams, but under here it has Booleans union. That's going to make a union of two objects. So let me undo this, where we have those two objects together. If I selected them in the other order, let's learn about difference one more time. I'll select this first, then this, and if I hit Mesh Booleans Difference, you'll see that it cut a chunk out of my pencil sharpener because I selected them in the wrong order. If I select them in that order and I hit Mesh Booleans Intersection, it'll give me the piece that it cut out. And then if I do Union, Mesh Booleans Union, it'll make one object out of both of these things. Now, the important thing is when I click on 4, notice the tip of the pencil's gone. Everything that was intersecting between the two when you do a union will disappear. It's one way to join objects together in kind of a messy way, but it does tend to work. Lastly, when you're done with this Mesh Booleans business, or you're using a curve to loft or revolve, always go edit, delete by type, or delete all by type if you want to do this to your whole project. But delete by type at least. Have your object selected that's using those patterns, and then delete the history. That way you can delete the curve or any of the other objects you've used to create it. And and you'll notice in the attribute editor, all of the things you used to create that object will now be gone.